the Deputy Governor, Kilifi County, His Excellency Engineer Gideon Saburi, the Vice Chancellor, Pwani University, Professor Mohamed Rajab, the KNDI CEO, Dr. David Okeo, the Dean, School of Health and Human Sciences, Professor Makaroni Mujido, all guests and participants in the first Kenya Nutrition and Dieticians Scientific Conference, good morning. My task is a very simple and humble one this morning, is to invite the various speakers who will give us welcoming remarks during this opening session of this conference. And we'll start with the person who has been very instrumental with coordinating the hosting of this university, of this conference at this university, the Dean, School of Health and Human Sciences, will give us the first welcoming remarks and welcome the KNDI CEO, after who will then welcome the Vice Chancellor, who will in turn welcome the Deputy Governor, and the culmination will be the official opening of this conference and also cutting of the cake to also launch the Institute's journal.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, the Vice Chancellor, Pwani University, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Pwani University, CEO, KNDI, Chairman of the committee, mine is a single honor of making the first invitation of the first speaker this morning, that is the CEO, David Okeo, Dr. David Okeo. I would wish to request Dr. Okeo, the CEO of KNDI, to come and give his remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, the Deputy Governor, Engineer, we welcome you. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajab, we are humbled to be hosted in your university. Professor KNDI, we are very grateful. Today we are here to launch the Journal of Nutrition and Dietetics for Kenya. I think it's the only journal we have for nutrition and dietetics. We have the first issue, which will be launched today. And we are proud to be in Pwani University because the guest of honor, sir, this is one of the universities that was inspected based on our 11 standards of accreditation, and they passed one straight line without a second time. So we are very happy with that. And we were proud with Pwani because they met all the 11 minimum standards required for training nutritionists and dietitians institute. And because of that, they promised that they want to establish KNDI at Pwani. And if I'm not wrong, we have just delayed. Professor, you indicated that at one given time, you will give us 2 acres of land to set up KNDI for the coastal region. And that is why we said we would come back. Professor KNDI was with us all through that process, and we are very grateful. Having said that, I take this opportunity now to invite my keynote speakers to come and introduce themselves. We have 3 keynote speakers, and the 4th keynote speaker will be coming on Thursday. That is the Cabinet Secretary, Representative the CAS, Dr. Rashid. But today we have 3 of them, and we also have 1 speaker from the international community. So I would invite them to come and introduce myself. My keynote speakers kindly come up and in front here. Professor Yokio, Elena. So we have 4 of our speakers. It's okay. And Mr. Guest of Honor, on my next to me here is Professor Yokio Yamori from Mukagawa University, Women's University, Japan. Professor is loaded. I don't want to talk about it. I think we will introduce him later. And then we have Paul Eme. Paul is from University of Suka, Nigeria, but he's now based in Wellington. He's been living in some small island called Kiribati. And he will be giving us a keynote. Then we have Helena Mesente something. Helena is from... Yes. Helena is an old friend, and have visited them in Finland. She was a mayor in Sinayoki City at that time, and she comes from University of Sinayoki. And then we have Trevor, who is an international rugby coach and a scientist studying rugby. And he's focusing on sports nutrition.
Chief guests, Your Excellency Engineer Gideon Saburi, the Deputy Governor of County 003, our Vice Chancellor, Pwani University, Professor Mohammed Rajab, the CEO of KNDI, Dr. Okeo, the Chair of the Conference Organizing Committee, Professor Makoha, our keynote speakers for this conference, all conference delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. Allow me to humbly call upon our Vice Chancellor, Professor Mohammed Rajab, to officially welcome you and to offer his opening remarks.
I'd like first and foremost to take this opportunity on behalf of the entire student fraternity, the staff, both teaching and non-teaching of Pwani University, to welcome you to Pwani University. Please feel at home here at Pwani University. As an institution, we are privileged this morning to host this team, some of whom are coming from very far, and some are loaded with a lot of experience, and we are looking forward to sharing that experience amongst all of us here this morning. Before it slips my mind, I'd like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank and also on the same breath congratulate KNDI. We have been interacting with quite a number of regulatory bodies, but this is the first time I'm witnessing a regulatory body engaged in a core activity of teaching and learning, and that is the launch of a journal. So for that, I say congratulations. You are a trailblazer amongst the regulatory bodies. I hope the others follow your footsteps. So congratulations. We have interacted, and if I'm not mistaken, I think 3 times as an institution with KNDI. And interestingly, all the 3 times were extremely pleasant. The first time, KNDI came here to inspect us, to inspect our program for purposes of accreditation. And they were very thorough. And at that time, they were very serious. There were very few smiles. And they did a thorough job. At the end of that job, as you have heard Dr. Okeo sharing with all of us, we passed on all the 11 requirements. And we passed with flying colors. Now, that was the first time we met. Now, at the end of that exercise, they were actually smiling. And they were very happy, and they were smiling because they were happy with what they saw. And their mission was actually to improve quality of teaching and learning. And in the onset, I had told them when they first came, that is also our mission and our desire. And I shared with them that we want to hear from them so that we can improve our processes and our programs. Now, the second time they came, they actually came with a certificate to present to us. And that was very pleasant, and it made us very, very proud indeed. And for that, I would like to say, through the CEO, Dr. Okeo, thank you for that gesture, because they decided to come themselves to issue us with a certificate because of the seriousness they hold that certificate. And the third time, we met, culminated to this launch of this workshop, which also will witness the launch of the journal. Now, that journal had an advanced copy myself, and I was very, very impressed. So once again, KNDI, for the efforts, congratulations. I know it's not easy to set up a journal, but you have done it, and we are going to witness the launch of that journal today. So in advance, I tell you congratulations. It is not easy. Thank you. Now, I said we've met 3 times. I'm not a prophet, but I would like to predict that we are going to meet again very soon with KNDI. This time will be to break the grounds. To break the grounds and lay the foundation stone for the KNDI, I don't know what to call it, an institute here, a research institute here in Pwani. I can assure you, without fear of contradicting myself, that as an institution, we have the capacity, we have the ability to ensure that we have the state-of-the-art research institute based here in Kilifi. We have demonstrated it before, and we are not going to experiment. We are not trying our luck. When we do it properly, and we do it the right way. So we are going to do it. Okeo said, I promised 2 acres. The deputy governor whispered to me, he said, did you promise? This university, as you are aware, is a public institution, and it was set up with the sole purpose of providing teaching, learning, and research opportunities. We sit on not a very big parcel of land, about 600 acres of land. And we have vowed to protect the land, and we are protecting it. But we have no problem accommodating KNDI because we share the same objectives. So we look forward to working with KNDI, and we look forward to setting up a research institute here in Pwani, which will make all of us proud. Not only Pwani and Kilifi fraternity, but the entire country. And this is my very good friend, Engineer Gideon Saburi, who is currently the Deputy Governor of Kilifi. Engineer, welcome.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Today, Kilifi County is honored to host the first Nutrition and Dietetics conference in Kenya. Kenya has 26% of children who were stunted in 2014 as per the KDHS, survey by the Central Bureau of Statistics and others. In addition to the high levels of undernutrition, substantial levels of overweight, obesity have also been observed. And at the national level, 25% of women of reproductive age are overweight or obese. I think you can actually understand this kind of trend, especially in our towns and cities, because that's where the kind of food they eat, the nutritionists call garbage. I think I'm not wrong when I go that direction. In the big cities, we are unable to control ourselves when we see chicken going round and round as it's being prepared ready for us to eat, and chips, fish, and probably others like, is it hamburger, pizzas. So the obesity, I think, is something that we know very well where it actually comes from. But these are the statistics that we have. The prevalence is even higher in urban areas where 40% of women are overweight or obese, as I said. Kilifi County has 7 sub-counties, namely Malindi, Magarini, Ganze, Rabai, Kaloleni, Kilifi South, and Kilifi North, and has 3 main livelihoods in these zones. The ranching, parts of the mixed farming and marginal mixed farming livelihood zones, covering parts of Ganze, Bamba, Vitengeni, and Marafa, are currently in the stressed food insecurity phase. The rest of the county is in the minimal food insecurity phase, and the drivers of food insecurity include reduced crop production, decreasing pasture availability, reduced water for livestock and domestic use, and lower than normal meal frequency, and decreasing milk consumption at household level. Here we are talking about reduced water, but as we speak today, in fact, the governor is on a mission to visit with the deputy president the areas that the water levels currently are above normal. So again, we are experiencing crop interference, because when there's too much water, then farming becomes a problem. Other soils are brought in, and we are actually in the season of farming currently, but the water levels are too much, and sooner or later we'll be at the end of this season. So we expect really to have a challenge as far as food stuff is concerned, and that's nutrition will have been interfered with. In the cash crop and dairy livelihood zone, coconuts, cashew nuts, and cassava are the main sources of income, contributing 30, 25, and 15% of cash income, respectively, while maize and cassava contribute 40 and 20%, respectively. And this is from data that is available from researchers. In the marginal mixed farming zone, cashew nuts and cassava are the main sources of income, and they contribute 50 to 30% of cash, respectively. So we can see also here that there's a trend that is currently being followed. But again, the county government, together with other organizations, is coming up with a lot of improved breeds of some of these products that we've mentioned here. Cashew nuts, coconuts. We have a lot of new improved breeds that are with us for some time. It will be on some kind of to see how how they will, behave, how they are going to perform. And then later on, we will spread out. So we would like to join KNDI to see that this is going to be successful, and other products that we are going to hear from these institutions. We want to come together with the county government to see that we have proper nutrition for our people, both for purposes of consumption at local level and for even export and improved sustainability. The county has high stunting that persists at a prevalence rate of 35.9%. Similarly, the percentage of children under 5 years who are underweight from January to June 2016, according to statistics, was higher than that reported during the same period in 2015, implying a worse nutritional status compared to last year. The Kilifi County government is strongly committed to reducing hunger and malnutrition. This includes building efforts towards self-reliance, to reduce chronic food insecurity, as well as measures to assist those in need when emergencies occur. As we speak today, again, because of the current weather pattern and the global change in the weather, we've come into this particular predicament of high levels of water, and this has affected a lot of farming in this particular area and other areas in the coastal region, Tana River and Lamu. And we've been up to the task, really, to ensure that people in these areas are receiving some assistance, because there is nowhere to go. Their farms are flooded, their homes are flooded, and they have had to move. They first moved to schools because schools were closed, but then we had to immediately, together with other well-wishers, Red Cross and the others, moved these people to safer grounds and provided them with shelter and also with food stuff, water and medicine. So the county government is up to this task, and together with other well-wishers, we've tried to manage, and so far we've had minimal impact in form of death and other diseases. These have been controlled. So we are again very much in contact with FAO, which is also an organization that has been encouraging us in food and nutrition matters. And they've encouraged even farmers to come up with the crops that are more sustainable. For example, green grams, cassava, and all the greens, the vegetables, which I'm sure if we try and go that direction, we are also going to reduce the obesity that is common in our towns and cities. Although it's not very encouraging, I think sometimes people don't even think about these particular kind of crops. But I, as a person, have some few days in the week when I go to one of our local kiosks in Kilifi, just to go and enjoy the local food stuff, ugali with mchicha, and sometimes even with ile mboga chungu, mchunga, wale wanaojua mchunga. Yeah. So, and these are very nutritious food stuff, which we want to encourage people. When I go there sometimes, people see me and they say, Deputy Governor, hata wewe unakuja hapa? Ni kwa kioski tu. But I want them to feel, I like the food myself, but I also want them to see that this food is actually good for them. This is food that doesn't come from oils, factory prepared oils. It's just from coconut oil, and the, mboga, which is just, sourced from around, fish, and other stuff. And I'm happy, and it's very nutritious. I like it. So I think we should encourage each other. I go to that kiosk because the same food stuff is not available in the big hotels. And sometimes even in our homes, we don't do it. So I'm forced to go to that hotel, but also to promote those small-scale businesses that are happening here within ourselves. So I don't want to take much time. I want now to say thanks once again for being given this opportunity to be the guest speaker here. And I want to wish you all a very, very successful conference and a good stay in Kilifi. For our guests, feel very much welcome here in Kilifi. I don't know where you've been accommodated, but there's a lot of good hotels in Kilifi and a little bit out of Kilifi town, but within Kilifi County. So feel welcome, and you can visit us also in our offices when you find time. We are a very loving county, and we welcome you once again. So with those many and few remarks, I want now to ask the conveners. Do I officially open? Right. So I want to declare this conference now officially opened.
And for that note, he is going to launch the Journal of Nutrition and Dietetics. Our next process, His Excellency the Deputy Governor, is behind you, just next to you, on your right side. There is a table with a pair of scissors, which you are going to face the wall, and there is a long tape, which you're going to cut in between. Journal of Nutrition and Dietetics. There you are, His Excellency the Governor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful. Our next step is that His Excellency the Deputy Governor, Engineer Gideon Saburi, is going to cut the cake. Kata, kata, kata. He's getting us on board. Thank you very much, His Excellency. And therefore, there you are, the Journal of Nutrition and Dietetics has been officially launched by His Excellency the Deputy Governor, Engineer Gideon Saburi.